Hello, and welcome to another episode of Life with Professor Retro. Of course, I am your host, Professor Retro. So, today's vlog is going to be about a couple of things. I got it all kind of written down, or typed up on my phone. So, well, hello, Spicy. Of course, that's one of our many cats. We have 4. Anyway, so, you probably noticed by now on the channel there's a short of a cute little puppy barking at nothing. That's our puppy Lucy, and I think I'm going to tell you how we got that, and then we're going to talk about um, the animals and pets we've lost throughout the years, and then I'm probably going to just end with some silly things and lighten the mood before I end the vlog. So, how we got Lucy. So, I'm going to first tell you a little story about what led up to this. Almost a year ago now, back in like March, we had lost three of our pets, and I'll talk more about that later on in this video. But we had lost 3 of our pets, 2 dogs and a cat. My wife is a big fan of the dog breed Chihuahuas. For those who don't know what a Chihuahua is, it is a mix between a Chihuahua and a Dachshund. Basically, think a wiener dog with Chihuahua face or ears. They're adorable, they're cute, they like to play, they're very loyal. They're also a very stubborn breed. Anyway, the 3 pets we had lost was a black cat by the name of Diablo, a Chihuahua by the name of Layla, and my wife's beloved one that she loved the most that hit her hard, was her Chihuahua by the name of Emma. The first 2 died of a stroke, and Emma's was a little bit more of a shocker. Emma had a bad paw, and the vet said because of Emma's weight and because Emma was diabetic, the only option was to, put her down. So we had to do that. It hit her hard. So the same day we put her down on a Monday morning. The same day we put her down, we decided to take a trip out to Madison to look at animals because they said that the Madison Humane Society said that they actually had some Chihuahuas. So we went down there because trying to get Chihuahuas from other places was like almost paying an arm and a leg. So we had went to get there. Unfortunately, we only saw 2 dogs, and at that time, my wife wasn't really ready to get another dog. She had just lost Emma, and she was still trying to process everything that had happened that morning. But we saw 2 dogs, one by the name of Choco Chip, and one by the name of Penny. We came home with nothing, but my mom went that following day to pick up Penny, which Penny is a Chihuahua mixed with a rat terrier. But this isn't about Penny. This is about this dog right up here. You'll see a picture of her pop up in a second. That one is named Lucy. She belongs to a Facebook group that is all about Chihuahuas. And she'd put in the Facebook group if anyone had any Chihuahua puppies for sale or to give away. And someone in San Antonio, Texas had said that he had. And showed her a picture. They voice chatted, they video chatted, off and on. The only thing we had to do was wait for a couple more weeks so we could take the puppy. We would go there. Now, trying to figure out how to get there was kind of hard. At first, it was going to be a giant family trip. It was going to be my mom, Jill, my wife, and me. My stepson was going to stay home. But my mom decided that she said if I wanted her to go with, she would, but I said, no, we're fine. We hopped in the car, and we drove to San Antonio, Texas, stopping in Illinois, at one point because of storms, but we made it. At about 11 o'clock at night, we finally got to where the puppy was. We could have stayed at the hotel that we had booked, but Jill was excited and wanted to bring the puppy. So we brought the puppy. We brought Lucy. We picked her up and got all our papers and headed back home. This is what Lucy looked like when we got her, and this is what Lucy looks like now. She's about a year old, and she is a joy to have. If you saw my first vlog, I asked the question, puppies, are they a blessing and a curse? And yes, they are. She is a rambunctious little thing. She likes to play. She likes to chew. So if you're getting a puppy, be sure that you have to deal with the fact that they have a chewing stage. So they'll chew on anything they can. Your hands, your slippers, your shoes, cords, anything that they can get their chew, they'll chew. We've had to give up shoes, we've had to give up sandals, we've had to give up lots of stuff because she chewed them. Alright. Penny is now in Florida with my mom, along with her 3 cats. She's lost 1 cat. And we're going to go into the next topic, which is pets we've lost throughout the years. So I mentioned in the previous story, and how we got Lucy, that what started this whole trip was losing Emma, Layla, and Diablo. And you're going to see pictures of all 3, hopefully, as they pop up right about now. Emma was a tweenie. She had diabetes. We were managing it. We would give her insulin twice a day. We fed her a certain brand of food that was good for her diabetes. Layla was a older Chihuahua, and I explained that. But the other 2 I'm about to talk about, Layla and Diablo, both had strokes. So it was kind of, as I said, Diablo went first, then Layla, and then Jill made the decision that we had to put Emma down. Lacey May, which is was my mom's gorgeous white fluffy cat, had just recently passed on Thursday due to congestive heart failure and a stroke. My mom loved that cat. My dad loved that cat a lot. So she's up there in heaven with my dad. Chiefy, or others known as Mischief, was a cat that I had for years, and I had for a while. And then to save my previous marriage, I gave him to my mom because my ex-wife had an issue with him after a while, mainly because her friends are allergic to cats and she wanted to invite them over. So therefore she had decided that it was either that. She was going to take him to the Humane Society behind my back. Well, I went behind her back and hugged my mom, and my mom had taken him in. His nicknames have been Chief, Chiefy. I called him Chief. He had died pretty much 2 years ago now, after trying to deal with cancer. We had to put him down because once your cat stops purring and even stops meowing, it's time to just literally call it a day with them, especially if they're sick with cancer and the other disease that will eventually they'll eventually succumb to. And let's see, what else do I got in here? Oh, and Snickers was a calico cat my mom had and gotten from a friend. She had died of congestive heart failure. She was sitting on the couch. She was meowing really loud, and then she just kind of slid right off the couch, and they took her in right away, and they had put her down because of congestive heart failure. And last is Mona. Now, Mona was a Dalmatian, was a cross between a Dalmatian and a Retriever. Mona was one of my wife's dogs when I first met her, and I moved to Racine. Mona was this gorgeous, fun-loving dog. Loved to play in the snow, loved to play catch. But before we moved to Brookfield, right after Jill's mom had passed, we had to make a decision on what to do with Mona, because Mona had dementia really bad. Excuse me, I'm kind of trying to. Yeah, I think I'm getting a cold. And she was attacking the cat. She was attacking the other dogs, mainly Layla. And we had to make the decision to put her down as well. And it was a good decision because I wasn't going to bring Mona here to Brookfield and then have Mona attack my mom's cats. And I think that sums up. Oh, well, Diablo was a black cat. And of course, Layla was a Chihuahua. That sums up that, and with some silly things. Um, this cat is known as Allspice. We call her Spicy. She got. She got. We got her after my black cat I had for years by the name of Allie had passed due to hyperthyroidism and combined with congestive heart failure. So we had that. And then we had to go and she had actually passed while I was still living in Racine. And excuse me. As early as like 7:30 in the morning. And so after that I wanted a kitten, but everywhere we looked kittens were expensive. They're almost like $500 to over $1,000, and I wasn't going to spend that much on a kitten. Humane Society out in Milwaukee had a deal going on. Pay whatever you wanted to get a cat 1 year or older. So we were there. There were people paying pennies, $1 just to get an animal cat that was 1 year or older. I had planned to see 3 cats. Unfortunately, I only saw the one cat, which is this one, and fell in love with her. We paid $20 because it was pay whatever you wanted, and we were there. They were excited to get $20 from us because I think they were getting like $5, $1, whatever you had. I mean, could you imagine going to the Humane Society, wanting a 2-year-old cat and being able to pay 25 cents? That's kind of a really lame donation, but that's what they had going on at the time. Excuse me. That's what they had going on at the time. Time for some dad jokes. Let's end with that. Or how about let's do this. Time for some weird thoughts. Why do they call them apartments when they're so far away? Why are cats so aloof? I once saw a funny statement that said, dogs are man's best friend, cats are man's hairy roommate that shits in a box. I see a lot of weird and funny things. Um, if my wife's in the car with me and we're driving, she'll see a weird road sign and she'll joke about it just to get me to laugh, especially if I'm in kind of a bad mood. Nickname for this one is Spicy. We have a cat named Looney. That's a big fat thing that was a cute cat as a kitten. We have another one we call Baby Kins or Baby. We thought he was a girl and we named her Baby Kins. We found out he was a boy. And then we've got the oldest cat, which is Pistol Pete. I call him Stripedy White Pete. And yeah. A story about the old dog Layla, the Chihuahua that we had lost in March. And it involves Pete. When my wife had gotten Layla, she was younger. I think she was about a year or two old. About that. They had gotten Pete with a baby kitten, maybe about this big. from what I've been told, that had went outside and his mama cat had just ran away, just left him there. They had taken him in. They had bottle fed him, took care of him. But the interesting thing was Layla had somehow magically developed milk and had fed Pete. And that had made it to the news, that had made it to National Geographic somehow, and it made it into the local paper that a Chihuahua was nursing a baby kitten. And I'll show you a picture of the two of them at that time right about now. We talked about how we got Lucy. We did a tribute to all the animals we had lost over the years. I did some silly things and talked about some other things. So, let's see. Oh yeah, down in the description, if you want to support the channel, there is my Patreon. You can get early views of these if I put them up early enough. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, stay frosty, and remember, always do good.